Shadows of the Titanic, Wealth, Power, and the Federal Reserve. In the digital age, a simple like can spark a viral revolution, turning obscure ideas into global movements overnight, while sharing amplifies voices that might otherwise echo in silence. Subscribing or following isn't just a click. It's a commitment to a journey, weaving personal narratives into the fabric of collective discovery and fostering communities bound by curiosity and connection. We're taking you on a journey through the shadows of early 20th century power plays, focusing on a story that ties together immense wealth, a legendary ship, and the birth of a financial system that changed the world forever. We're talking about John Jacob Astor, Isidor Straus, Benjamin Guggenheim, the RMS Titanic, J.P. Morgan, and the Federal Reserve Act. Buckle up because this one's packed with twists that make you question everything. Let me paint a picture without giving away the big reveals just yet. Imagine a time when titans of industry roamed the earth like gods, building empires out of steel, real estate, and sheer ambition. 3 of these giants embark on what should be a luxurious crossing of the Atlantic on the most advanced vessel ever built, a symbol of human triumph over the seas. But lurking in the background is a master financier pulling strings, secret gatherings on isolated islands where the future of money is plotted, and an election that shifts the balance of power. What if this voyage wasn't just about getting from point A to point B, but about clearing obstacles to a grander scheme? It's a tale of opulence, tragedy, and the kind of influence that can rewrite reality itself. Stick around and we'll unpack it all. Alright, let's get into the heart of it. Starting with the men at the center. John Jacob Astor IV, a name synonymous with American royalty. Born into the Astor family, which had amassed a fortune through fur trading and New York real estate, Astor was worth around $87 million back then. That's billions today. He was an inventor, a hotel builder, the guy behind the Waldorf Astoria, and even dabbled in writing science fiction. In 1912, at 47, he was newly married to his young wife Madeline, who was pregnant, and they were returning from a European honeymoon. They boarded the Titanic in Cherbourg, France, with their entourage, settling into one of the finest suites. When disaster struck, Astor helped Madeline into a lifeboat but couldn't join her. Women and children first, they said. He went down with the ship. His body later recovered from the icy waters. Then there's Isidor Straus, a German-Jewish immigrant who rose to co-own Macy's department store with his brother Nathan. A former congressman from New York, Straus was a pillar of business and philanthropy. He and his wife Ida had been wintering in Europe and boarded the Titanic for the trip home. They had a luxurious parlor suite. As the ship sank, Ida refused to leave Isidor's side, uttering those famous words about living and dying together. Both perished. His body was found and buried in New York. Hers never recovered. Their devotion became legend, but their loss was a blow to the world of commerce. Benjamin Guggenheim from the mining dynasty was another force, involved in smelting and international business. He boarded with his mistress, her maid, his valet, and chauffeur. When the iceberg hit, he and his valet dressed in their finest tuxedos, sipped brandy, and smoked cigars as the waters rose. "We've dressed up in our best and are prepared to go down like gentlemen," he reportedly said. Guggenheim, his valet, and chauffeur didn't survive. Their bodies weren't found. These 3, Astor, Straus, Guggenheim, were among the elite on the RMS Titanic's maiden voyage. The ship itself was a marvel, built by Harland and Wolff in Belfast, owned by the White Star Line, which was under J.P. Morgan's International Mercantile Marine Company. Morgan, the banking colossus, had financed the Olympic-class liners to dominate transatlantic travel. The Titanic left Southampton on April 10, 1912, bound for New York, picking up passengers in Cherbourg and Queenstown. It was a commercial run, showcasing luxury for the wealthy and hope for immigrants below decks. But on April 14th, it steamed full speed into a known iceberg field, struck one at 11:40 p.m., and sank by 2:20 a.m. the next day, taking over 1,500 lives. J.P. Morgan was supposed to be aboard. He had a private suite with a promenade deck and cigar holders. But he canceled at the last minute, citing health issues and a need to handle art exports from France amid potential new laws. He stayed in Europe, recovering at a spa. Meanwhile, his rivals, or so the story goes, were on board and didn't make it. Morgan died the next year, but not before seeing his visions realized. Now, whispers have long circulated about a swap, that the Titanic wasn't the Titanic at all, but her sister ship, the Olympic. The Olympic had collided with the HMS Hawk in September 1911, suffering major damage to her hull and propeller. Repairs were costly, and White Star was in financial straits. The theory suggests they switched the ships in Belfast Yard, swapping nameplates, fittings, everything, to sink the damaged Olympic as the new Titanic and claim insurance on the higher-valued vessel. Proponents point to photos showing inconsistencies. The Olympic had an open-deck promenade, but Titanic's was partially enclosed. Yet some images blur the lines. Propeller markings from the wreck supposedly match the Olympics. Porthole counts differ in pictures, and the Titanic's insurance was for $5 million, but she cost $7.5 million. Wait, that doesn't add up for profit, but maybe the goal was to avoid repair costs and collect something. With Morgan's backing, could they pull off such a deception? Thousands of workers involved, but money talks, and threats silence. Tying this to bigger machinations, in November 1910, a secret meeting on Jekyll Island, Georgia. Senator Nelson Aldrich and top bankers like Paul Warburg, Frank Vanderlip, and Henry Davison, Morgan allies, gathered at a private club. No last names used, all hush-hush to avoid public outcry. They drafted a plan for a central bank to stabilize the economy after the Panic of 1907, where Morgan had single-handedly bailed out the system. This became the Aldrich Plan, precursor to the Federal Reserve. Factions clashed over it. Bankers and financiers pushed for control to prevent runs and provide elastic currency. Progressives wanted public oversight to avoid Wall Street monopolies. Agrarians feared it favored elites over farmers. Conservatives saw it as unconstitutional power grab. But with opposition potentially from influential voices like Astor, Guggenheim, and Straus, who controlled vast wealth and could sway opinion, the path needed clearing. Enter the 1912 election. Woodrow Wilson, Democrat from New Jersey, ran on New Freedom, antitrust, tariffs, banking reform. The Republicans split. Incumbent Taft versus Theodore Roosevelt's progressive Bull Moose Party. Wilson won with 42% popular vote but 435 electoral votes. Roosevelt got 27%, Taft 23%, and Eugene Debs of the Bolshevist-leaning party pulled 6%. Wilson's victory paved the way. On December 23, 1913, Wilson signed the Federal Reserve Act. After House and Senate passage, it created 12 regional banks with a mix of private and federal control. A compromise that gave bankers immense power over money supply. Diving deeper into the themes here, this isn't just a shipwreck. It's about control. The Federal Reserve handed the ability to create currency endlessly to a private entity, backed by government. With that power, influencing narratives becomes trivial. Any debunking could be funded, experts coerced, evidence buried. Imagine, if the Titanic was swapped to eliminate repair debts and collect insurance, and simultaneously remove voices against the Fed, it fits a pattern of engineered crises. The Panic of 1907? Some say Morgan orchestrated it to justify a central bank. The voyage's purpose, transporting elites, turned sinister if invitations were strategic. Why full speed in ice? Insufficient lifeboats? No flares? Morgan's absence smells of foreknowledge. And those three men, Astor's real estate empire, Straus's retail dominance, Guggenheim's mining, they could have rallied against centralized banking as a threat to free enterprise. Their deaths cleared the deck. In an era of robber barons, this consolidation shifted power from individuals to institutions. Today, with inflation and debt, we see the fruits. Endless wars funded by printed money, inequalities widened. If currency creation buys silence, even thousands could be managed, workers paid off, historians swayed, records altered. It's not paranoia, it's pattern recognition. Let me share some poignant words that echo through time. Woodrow Wilson himself later reflected, "I am a most unhappy man. I have unwittingly ruined my country. A great industrial nation is controlled by its system of credit. Our system of credit is concentrated. The growth of the nation, therefore, and all our activities are in the hands of a few men. We have come to be one of the worst ruled, one of the most completely controlled and dominated governments in the civilized world, no longer a government by free opinion, no longer a government by conviction and the vote of the majority, but a government by the opinion and duress of a small group of dominant men." Chilling, right? And from the era, whispers and papers about Jekyll Island. The real truth of the matter is, as you and I know, that a financial element in the larger centers has owned the government ever since the days of Andrew Jackson. Or consider Astor's own sci-fi novel, where he imagined a future of advanced tech but warned of monopolies. Straus, in his political days, spoke for fair trade against undue influence. Guggenheim's family built fortunes independently, wary of centralized control. Wrapping this up, if you followed along, you see how these threads weave a tapestry of possibility. The Titanic story isn't just tragedy. It's a window into how power operates in the dark. Dig into the archives, read the old accounts, question the official lines. Who knows what you'll uncover? Stay afloat, stay alive, stay free.